Our vision on farm is to be an operation which leaves a minimal environmental footprint. And one of the ways we've managed to drop our nitrogen leaching and remain environmentally friendly is to identify areas of wetlands, of which at present we have 4 hectares of wetlands. I think we took the opportunity to identify the wetland area after our son came back from Australia in an EnviroSchools project with kids teaching kids on a waterway course throughout Australia. So it brought back information to us, and the way I like to see it is that it was kids teaching adults. That we're catching all of this water that washes off 80 hectares of land, and it's basically brought to a stop, let to settle, and then it's pushed back through 300 metres of wetland before it hits a waterway. So I think that's a great way to slow things down, keep all the nutrients on farm, and allowing it to go back into the waterway in a really healthy state. We don't have to worry about cows being stuck in waterways and having to get them out. So for us, we see them paying for themselves reasonably quickly, because some of these wetlands are quite wet and we were having cattle stuck in them. It also helps catch any erosion, any litter coming off the races or washing into these areas. So it's capturing it all back and saving it up before it hits the waterway. I think when we look at this land that we've taken out and to fence it, some of the fences range from 2 wires to 5 wires. We've been fortunate enough with the regional council to join with us in subsidies. I mean, we've been getting 35% of subsidies for fencing and plants and any work involved around them. So for an average cost of a fence, we're probably looking between $5 and $7 a metre. And for the planting, I think off the top of my head, we're using around $3 a plant planted. With all the grass growing and the plants growing, it's cut down on any weeds such as gorse or blackberry growing through them. I mean, we do get a little bit, but we spray it, once every 2 years. But it's certainly cut down on a lot of the weeds growing in these areas. So this little stream is running reasonably peaceful and tranquil right now, but in the middle of winter it's full, this drain, and I think this drain proves that you don't have to actually plant them. The grass that's growing on the side here is giving it a good filtration buffer anyway. So if you can't afford to plant them, just be generous with the area you give so that you can create a buffer of grass like we have down through this little drain here. I think it's a passion of Susan and mine to have a farm which is environmentally friendly and yet still remaining really productive. And I think we've achieved that. The benefit I get seeing how these wetlands are developing, watching the tuis feeding on the flax plants, the wood pigeons, and even the pheasants, nesting in the wetland itself, has brought a lot of joy to us and our family. We looked at where the industry was going and worked out that we needed to be compliant going forward. So we sort of set ourselves a 5-year plan. The first one was, hey, let's get our riparian strips done and all our drains fenced. We did that relatively easy because when we bought the farm, some of it was already done. Then we morphed into wetlands, of which we believed were a great way of capturing that nutrients. So over the 3 years, as we've developed the farm, we've just looked at those sites. We didn't have a fix on cost. We had a fair idea how much it was going to cost us, but probably around $20,000 to $30,000 a year we set aside to do it. And when we get the funding as well, it makes it a bit more palatable. If we were going to do it again, some of the wetland areas that we've created, we'd probably be more generous and fence it in an easier manner. There's areas of the farm that we could have possibly retired a little bit more land and it wouldn't have cost us any more. It would have made fencing cheaper. And I don't think we would change our planting species. We had a vision that the plants that we chose were probably more low growing around the farm races so that we could still see our paddocks. We still had good visibility. We weren't shadowing or boxing ourselves out. But more into the middle of the swamps or the wetlands, we've planted bigger trees like kahikatea, which have grown there before, and there's some there, so we've managed to replant them.